Millions of people, including small business owners, continue to wait on any kind of stimulus relief from Congress. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is slowing negotiations, refusing to back the proposed bipartisan stimulus. As the clock ticks down, McConnell continues to tout his own smaller plan. Joining us now is Bloomberg congressional reporter Billy House in Washington. Billy, it's great to have you back on the show. What is McConnell's issue with this current iteration of the plan?
Well, his issue is mostly related lawsuits to businesses, and that's really been the potential deal breaker, along with the state and local aid that Democrats want. And these are the issues that date from the summer that have held this up. And so bipartisan lawmakers are trying to work out those two differences for them. Whether they get to that or not, we don't know. We do know that there's some affirmative talks taken behind closed doors on both of those issues right now.
So Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is worried about liabilities that American businesses would have to face if they, because of COVID-19?
Yes, but he seems to be open to the idea of some sort of lesser blanket cover, an affirmative defense from liability lawsuits that would be, provided to defendants so they wouldn't be subject to excessive liability. But the devil's in the details on that. And so, too, on the state and local demands from Democrats on whether the grants should be based on population, revenue losses, that sort of thing. So that's the gritty detail they're at now. At the same time, the bipartisan group of lawmakers who first put together a $908 billion compromise are going to release more details beyond those two issues later this afternoon.
So it certainly seems that Americans are expecting some sort of stimulus, and certainly Wall Street is expecting a stimulus. But if it doesn't pass before the end of the year, what does it mean for the U.S. economy? What does it mean for markets?
Certainly would be disappointment, and however that they react to disappointment. But Pelosi just a few minutes ago underscored, and as she has been doing for the last few days, that this is just an emergency stimulus bill, and that Americans should expect the new President Biden and the new Congress to hope to do something much larger right around the turn of into the new administration. So that's in some regards a defense for her lowering her number, but it's also flagging everybody that they expect to do something more and expect to do it quickly once the year begins.
It does, though, Billy. I mean, what changes apart from a Biden administration if Mitch McConnell holds on to the Senate after the January 5th runoff in Georgia?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, what's the difference there?
That's the big issue, right? So Georgia remains sort of a key to a lot of things, including perhaps coronavirus relief.
So Nancy Pelosi essentially saying sort of hold off for a few more weeks because when there is a new administration, we can pass something bigger. But a lot of that depends on who controls the Senate. So potentially this struggle that we're seeing play out right now could mirror a struggle that we see in the future, right?
Oh, it likely will, even if Democrats have at least procedural majority in the Senate, because the seats are tied 50-50 as a result of the Georgia races, and Kamala Harris has the deciding vote. But let's don't forget, this bill they're working on now does include at least the framework, housing assistance and food insecurity assistance and continued unemployment insurance. It does not as yet include individual stimulus payments.
Okay, Billy, so based on your time reporting on Capitol Hill, I don't want to ask you to make any predictions here, but is there a chance that a compromise is reached before the end of the year?
I suspect there will be a compromise. I suspect it'll make nobody thrilled or happy other than for the PR fact that they did something. But the details that both sides are concerned with are not going to make anybody happy with what comes out.
Bloomberg News' Billy House in Washington. Billy, it's always great to have you on Quicktake. Thanks, as always, for your time.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.